Hi, my name is Melissa Zekor, and this is my presentation on the methodology used to conduct this market analysis of Fair Oaks Mall. So we have the agenda, which is an executive summary, site conditions and assessment, office market analysis, residential market analysis, retail market analysis, impact of mixed uses on site, and conclusion. So for the executive summary, here we were just kind of giving an overview and a broad detail of the location where it's located, where Fair Oaks Mall is located, which is in Fairfax County, and the number of stores and why this analysis is being conducted. Basically, it is addressing the challenges of the decline in foot traffic as consumers opt in for online shopping convenience. And so basically, this analysis is to determine the best utilization of the property to meet the changing demands of the consumer and enhance the relevance of the property in the current market. And so, detailed, we have the site conditions, which outlines the information uh, that was from the county, Fairfax County, located since Fair Oaks is located in District 7. We got the information from the environment, the transportation information was also from the county regarding the extension for the orange line that needs to be done in the area, and then the traffic count and the crime count was from the profile, the traffic profile and the crime profile from Esri. So in the office market analysis, I had marked out the trade areas, the market areas for office, and the most important thing was the amenities, the demand, and supply and competitive analysis. So for the market area, we used usually it had if I had access, I would have used Argus to mark out the market area, which kind of gives a more detailed area. But for office, usually it's just basically I did a 25-mile drive range from the site and a 30-mile drive range for the site for the secondary area. For amenities, I used Google, where I mapped out the closest amenities for office, and that was here outlined in purple. Outlined in purple are restaurants, and green were the gyms, and black was the daycare facilities. So in demand, I actually focused on the employment and the change in employment, the the actual what employment, what drivers were growing, what employment was decreasing in the area. So it's also found that um, a lot of employment that was decreasing was the management occupation, computer and mathematical occupations, the business and financial occupations were actually decreasing. But what was increasing from this research I found was the social, the physical, healthcare diagnosis, and healthcare supportive, which is actually good for healthcare and office demand. And so also I outlined the demographic change in the income here and also in population as well. Next, we had the supply. The supply information came from the like this graph here was from, I mean, this chart here was from CBRE and Cushman and Wakefield, and also some of it was from the Census Bureau. So here in the supply, I was getting more of the regional uh, in supply, which is for the north, which is Northern Virginia, which while we informed the vacancy, like vacancy was in Class A increased by 20%. Class B, it was increased by 25%, and Class C was 16%. And then also through the research, um, I found out like the properties here, and actually this chart is showing it here, that Boston properties, they had some deliveries in 2020, which is 100% leased and occupied. And then Comstock had a delivery in 2021, which is 100% occupied. And then in 22, Boston had two deliveries, um, which right now is at 89% occupied. The other one is at zero, but I think that statistic has changed by now. And currently, right now in 2024, we have 4 deliveries for this area. From one from Boston, one from Skinskan, and 2 from Comstock. And so the research actually, what was the key factor here in the research was that the Class A properties played a significant role in leasing up to 63% of new leases and 77% of new renewals for last quarter. So then we have the comparative analysis where I did the research, searched on using various sites, search to see where were the closest competitors and some of the variations of it for Class A and Class B and Class C properties located in the site. So here were some of the locations I used in the actual report. And then we went to the residential. With the residential, the market area for residential was outlined. I used amenities, demand, supply, and the comparable analysis. With the market area, it was the same information, the same trademark information that it was for office. So that was pretty easy. But this one's in an opposite aspect, to where you're going from the residential to a employer site that's about 30 to 25 miles out. And so that here is outlined in blue, which is the primary trademark area of the 25 miles. The outlined in red, the boldness is that 30-minute mark that extends out, which is the secondary area. Next, I used Google Maps to create this map and to map out all the amenities that a residential person would actually need. This was the grocery stores, which are marked in brown, orange, which is the restaurants around the site that's not included in our site. The hospitals that are marked and clinics that's marked in red in this area, we have 2. And then we have places of worship, which is marked in yellow in on the site, which is actually a diverse. I marked out a uh, uh, diverse religion: Islam, Judaism, and Christianity, and it has a couple more there too. And then we had in blue, which is the shopping areas outside of our site. So that's like Best Buy, Target, Old Navy, Soft and surroundings. And then I marked out the entertainment. So here is where it was hard to find outside of our site any other entertainment sites. So the ones I could find, two of them were in Fairfax Corner, which is the Escape Center in Cinemac. And then I've seen a couple of Bollywood, which are some of the um, culture sites for entertainment. Um, so then I researched the school ratings. The school ratings and came from Niche. And then also, I was able to look into the National Center of Education Statistics and look at the actual student to teacher ratio, which is actually really good. A 14 to 1 student teacher ratio, which signals smaller class size and more personalized interaction for students and teachers. So here is the demand. So this demand, even though most recent years, the demand has decreased, and a lot of the data that myself and I know are like my peers, you guys have gotten, um, this demand here, when we look at um, a long-term view from 2010 to 2014, you can see all the fluctuations that have happened in the Fair Oaks, Virginia area. So you can see how this graph starts off where it's drastically declining for years in 2010, but you have 2012, 13, 14, 15, where it bounces back, it increased, and then it dips again, the actual population, then it increased, it dips again, then it increased, then it's stagnant, then it increased, and so right now we're in that cycle where it's decreasing, but the overall trend shows that this area in a long-term view is actually growing. And so this is my methodology. And then also I use the information from Innova, which is the healthcare system. They actually projected that there would be a 46% increase of individuals in the age group of 65 and older in this area. So it would be need for senior housing and housing development geared to that segment. And so this was all done through the research that I received, that I found here. So next we have the supply. This research came from Fairfax County about the overall units that they have and what has been shifting. And then also I did some research in the home sales in the area, which actually reported this quarter a negative 41.2 year over year growth, with only a sale of 10 homes in this market. And so here, you can actually, with the sale of only 10 homes, and you can see that there is a need, like, hey, people want homes, but nothing is coming on market. So there is a need for housing in this area. So also, what I used in the pipe, use the county information from the current, and also some brokerage information from developments that are actually in the pipeline as well. So right now we have, in the pipeline, which is currently actually being constructed, is the lodge at Odom Willow, at Autumn Willow, is being currently constructed, developing 150 affordable senior housing, and that's set to be complete December 2020, which is actually located 5.8 miles from our site. And then you have the residence at Government Center, which was approved for financing for 290 affordable housing units offering 1 to 2 bedrooms, and that's actually situated 1.4 miles away. And so, also, I took a deep dive into the absorption rates, and this information came from brokerage firms like Cushman and Wakefield. Just talking about the absorption rate. So, for example, the absorption rate in 2023, which showed 99,000 apartments were completed, and this was 29 increase from Q2 of 2023. But the absorption rate indicates a percentage occupied of apartments within 3 months of completion at 65% in 3 months. So that's definitely some amazing absorption within just 3 months of completion. So you have a booming market here, from the research and just the actual research from the brokerage firm that was provided here. Next, I went to the comparables. I actually talked to the property manager of the Jefferson at Fair Oaks. Her name was Joy. She was actually able to give me some great information regarding their properties, average rent and average rent per square foot. And then I wasn't able to get as much information from the other properties, but I did love Vista at Fairfax Corner, just to learn how the amenities that they have, which is the pet spa, EV charging center, co-working spaces, a yoga studio, coffee bar, lounges with an arcade games. Like I want to live here. Um, but yeah, just kind of going through that, trying to call around, get information from either the leasing agency or the leasing agent, or even the property manager if available. Um, and so some of the information they did not want to give out as well. So I wasn't able to, or something. But I was able to get a lot of other information online that I needed as well. So that was definitely the methodology used for the comparable analysis. Next and lastly, we have the retail analysis. This would cover the trademark areas for retail, the aggregated amount in sales, capture rate, evaluation, and supportive retail space. So for the trade areas here, I use the the same software to mark out the trade areas. However, the only thing on this trade areas, it doesn't account for the competitors that's in this area, which I would have loved to do if I could understand how to use the Argus system. So here in the blue was but also we did use the methodology of the capture rate. So the capture rate did consist of the actual competitor, the nearby competitors. So we have the primary trade area for retail, which is outlined here in blue. That's within the red in the red shade, and then the outside the red shade is the 20-minute drive time. So the primary area, which expects to attract 50 to 65% of customers and sale, this is like the crucial point for retail center core support. And then the 20% that contributes to I'm sorry, the 20-minute drive time that contributes to 20 to 30% of the customers and sale for a retailer. And so next, we're going to go to the aggregated sales. So here, this is where like some of the consumer data serves as a valuable source, which I was able to still use Erie for that, to where we kind of added up all some of everything that's in the total category here, and also with the noticeable categories for like home food at home, apparel and services, computer and hardware, and home use merges as a significant contributor, representing a substantial portion of overall consumer spending here. So as you can see these numbers like 9 digits. Like this is, that's definitely a major contribute to that retail category. Sorry. And so next we have the capture rate. So here, my methodology for the capture rate here. So the Fair Lakes Promenade, I gave this a negative 3% for because it only has 2 stores in the neighborhood goods and services. But also because it's also in like the closest one in proximity to our site. Next, I examine Fairfax Corner. So Fairfax Corner, even though it has a highway barrier there, because sometimes people don't like driving too far, especially has like a barrier. However, they have 12 plus stores, so I gave them the highest rating of the -5, subtracting from the reasonable capture rate. And then Greenbrier, which is actually way far out from our site. I gave it a -1, but it also has 17 plus stores. And so that's kind of my methodology, because this one's like way further out than the rest of them. But it does still contribute to the capture rate for our site. And the same was conducted for the other retail categories. So the supported retail space, and this was, standard for everybody after you captured your capture rate. We were given the sale per square foot, and then that allowed us to calculate the supportive square foot based on the total sales for each retail category. And so this is how I came up with the supportable square foot in goods and neighbor services, beverage, and so on. And so with that, it was we had to, after seeing like, okay, this is a supportive square footage, and then comparing it to the current retail square footage that we have, you know, I calculated what need, because there needs to be a reduction here, because we have 1.7 million square feet currently of retail, and this is here telling us, based off the numbers that we're calculating, that it needs to be reduced drastically to 648,000 square feet. So my calculations, when I calculate, that was a reduction of 61.86% reduction needed in retail for Fair Oaks Mall. And so that shows like, okay, this is what needs, this is the new supportable retail by square footage that has been calculated, that is new. So next I went to the impact of mixing uses in on the site. So with this, I'm gonna just go ahead and kind of read it off to you guys. The ideal circumstances, basically, um, developers and investors can benefit from combining different services in a project, creating synergy that will attract more attention than each component would individually. So, with keeping in mind that, okay, we want to make sure that this site is has his own unique synergy. I wasn't trying to duplicate Fairfax Corner synergy, because Fair Oaks, being a retail regional mall, has a family oriented suburban synergy. So why not keep that synergy? And so also with that, I looked at what else is in demand, what else um, could this could contribute to the suburban feel, the suburban atmosphere, the family like orientation that we can bring, that the actual suburban neighborhoods or the surrounding neighborhoods are needing. So my first thing, basically for this mixed use, is basically making sure that each component could thrive on its own, but also, like I said, attract the synergy of the area. And so thinking about the long-term growth, not just for right now, um, I'm going to go into the actual recommendations. So thinking about what is growing. So when I went into what is growing, what is demand, based on the research, is that the healthcare area is growing. So seeing, when I mapped out the amenities in the area, there are only two hospitals and clinics, healthcare facilities in that area, honestly. So now, knowing that Class A spaces are getting, 60% new leases, 63% new leases, and 77% renewals. So, of course, we're going to have a Class A space that I think will be more conducive, geared towards healthcare, with a caution entry of 70,000 square feet, which is recommended. And then also recommended to attract, healthcare practitioners, establishing a affiliation with a major hospital, for the building. And this will, again, attract the healthcare practitioners and also attract patients beyond the trademark area. Next, I had the residential aspect. So the residential aspect, what drove this is basically there is a need for affordable housing. There is a need for, the home life field, meaning like 2 and 3 bedrooms that's catering to families and 1 bedrooms that's catering to individuals and empty nesters. So with this, and also geared to affordable housing, um, I projected a actual mixed income apartment development allocating, or basically, with an allocation of 30% of affordable housing. And so this would also combat the low inventory for housing, and then also the projected increase for housing for seniors as well, because senior can be housing. There's no income restriction because it's mixed income. And then there is no age restrictions because will just allow anybody to live there, which would grasp a greater um, demographic that can come to and live at this property. Next, lastly, is the Fair Oaks the Fair Oaks Mall Retail Center, that retail component, which we just discussed that, hey, 61.86% needs to be reduced. So we got that, and then the other retail categories would follow to be in line what was calculated earlier. And here, what I aim to for this property was that this property can be transfer trans this property can have a transformation aimed to create a more engaged environment. And so with that being a more engaged environment, having also the Dave and Buster's aspect and introducing more entertainment amenities like bowling, e esport gaming lounges, indoor golfing, maybe even indoor go-karting, where it's bringing that family-oriented fun synergy to this space as well, and also distinguishing the space from any other retailer around, because again, there was a lack of amenities regarding entertainment. There's really nothing. I think the closest bowling alley for in our area, where it was about a 10 minutes drive from there. And so no, sorry, yeah, I think it was 10 minutes drive. So just basically the envision for the property, again, aims to transfer it to make it more engaging, in line with the community needs, and by strategically incorporating like new and existing retail spaces to focus, and office to focus on the healthcare um, segment for the rising demand. And these recommendations would definitely unlock Fair Oaks site potential and sustainability, and and just allow it to be more of a prosperous development.